Founded in 1974, Virginia Blood Services provides blood to hospitals throughout the Commonwealth. As an independent blood service provider, Virginia Blood Services is governed locally by a volunteer board of directors made up of local medical and business leaders and counseled by a medical advisory committee of prominent physicians. As an industry exemplar, they receive excellent inspection reports from the FDA and are compliant with the most up-to-date patient safety standards. VBS receives no funding from the government or United Way. As a nonprofit tax-exempt 501c3, all funding comes entirely from processing fees that come from patient transfusion charges. Fees cover supplies, vehicles, laboratory equipment, staff, training, and other requirements that make blood safe and available. With donor centers throughout the Commonwealth, Virginia Blood Services relies on community volunteer blood donors to meet local patient needs. It takes several hundred donations every day in order to accommodate area hospitals. Donors can give a whole blood donation every 56 days, an automated double red cell donation every 112 days, and platelet donors can return to give every 2 weeks. Virginia Blood Services telerecruiters provide reminder calls for donors when they're eligible to give blood again. Area businesses and organizations volunteer time and effort to help sponsor thousands of blood drives every year to meet the needs of local patients. Blood collections from mobile blood drives make up about half of the supply. Components Receiving is a central hub where blood from centers and mobile drives around Virginia is delivered several times a day. Donor history forms, blood bags, and tubes are cross-checked for barcode consistency and temperature control. Test tubes are shipped off to undergo 12 tests including blood type, antibody screening, and infectious diseases such as hepatitis and HIV. The products are then sent to Components Manufacturing to be leuko-reduced, separated, and stored until test results are confirmed. This is less than a 24-hour turnaround. The staff in Components Manufacturing work to make blood donations transfusion-ready. The majority of blood products are leuko-reduced, where white blood cells are filtered out. This is because most patients needing transfusions already have high white blood cell counts. On some occasions, doctors may request units with white blood cells. Once the white blood cells are filtered, the products are split into the 3 components which make up blood: plasma, platelets, and red blood cells. Units are placed into a centrifuge machine and spun at a speed high enough to separate those components. The expressors then squeeze the separated products into individual bags. First, the plasma and platelets are separated from the red blood cells, and then the remaining plasma platelets are placed in a warm centrifuge to be respun and separated. These 3 components will be transfused to 3 different patients, which is why blood donors often hear they have the opportunity to save 3 lives. The plasma is placed in a blast freezer where, if needed, it can remain frozen for up to a year. Due to the clotting factor of blood, platelets are stored in an agitator machine because they must remain moving at all times to avoid coagulation. Platelets only have a 5-day shelf life, which creates a demand for consistent, regular platelet donations. Red blood cells are refrigerated and can last as long as 42 days. This lab ensures QC on all products that are processed by Components Manufacturing. Quality Control performs daily bacterial testing on all platelets, including both automated and whole blood products. Testing also determines platelet counts and volume, as well as hematocrits on red blood cell products and plasma weight. Technology is used for bacterial testing to pick up CO2 that is emitted if there are bacteria present. If gas is detected, the color of the bottle will change and an alarm will sound to alert the technician. The product will then be retested and the blood donor will be temporarily deferred. Using laser technology like a flow cytometer, the blood products are checked to ensure the filters have removed all white blood cells as intended, so that VBS can effectively provide the quality of leuko-reduced products expected by hospitals. The reference laboratory reviews information from blood donations for the day and chooses units of red blood cells that have unique characteristics most often needed by frequently transfused patients. These units are stored in a special inventory and are used to fill hospital orders for rare blood products. Very rare units are frozen to extend the shelf life from 42 days to 10 years. They are stored at ultra-low temperatures of about -80 degrees Celsius and must undergo a thawing process before transfusion. Patients who need rare blood cells are not typically compatible with more common blood products in the liquid inventory. Several tests are performed on inventory in preparation for hospital orders. This technologist is performing sickle cell testing on units that will be available for patients with sickle cell disease. Orders from hospitals vary from working up difficult patient cases to routine and emergency transfusions. To meet the needs of the patient, small samples are taken from the unit to be tested and matched. Serological testing is performed and a diagnosis is made with the aid of an observation lamp. Red blood cells from donors are tested using molecular technology not available through serological testing methods to identify characteristics that make them suitable for patients with specialized transfusion needs. Red blood cells from patients can also be tested using this method. This is helpful when interfering substances in the patient's blood sample prevent accurate testing for the characteristics needed for matching. Before the blood can be sent to hospital services, products are labeled and all information is cross-checked. All VBS labeled blood products are ISBT 128 compliant. ISBT 128 is the global standard for the identification, labeling, and information processing of human blood, cell, tissue, and organ products across international borders and disparate healthcare systems. The standard has been designed and perfected over a period of almost 2 decades to ensure the highest levels of accuracy, safety, and efficiency for the benefit of donors, patients, and healthcare professionals around the world. After products are labeled, they are placed in storage at hospital services. Since an emergency requiring blood can happen at any time, hospital services operates 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. This department is responsible for taking and filling orders from each hospital, usually twice a day, and during any emergency. Units are stored by blood type and RH factor, negative or positive. Hospital services must track blood inventory very closely and produces daily inventory reports which help the recruiters and blood centers understand what blood types and products are needed most each day. Blood products are maintained at a certain temperature for delivery. Plasma is kept on dry ice and red blood cell products are shipped on wet ice. Schedules for pickups are coordinated between hospital orders and availability. Shipments can be made throughout the day based on hospital needs. Through these departments, services, and volunteer blood donors, Virginia Blood Services is able to provide a safe and reliable blood supply to hospitals throughout the Commonwealth.